Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the DE podcast. I am joined with Aiken Rage as always, and we have another episode today with the NBA playoffs. The second round is underway. We have about 2 to 3 games in each series that have gone on. Some surprises, some things that we expected to happen, some injuries. So definitely a lot of information for today, and I think we can just kick it off with the Celtics versus the Bucks. So we have both going back and forth with two blowout wins for each team. The series tied at 1-1, but now 2-1, with Milwaukee getting that 2-point win over Boston today. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, just like KD, Kevin Durant last round, he's fueling the Celtics defense. Also, he did have 25 points going into the third quarter in game three. So definitely, did a better job, Giannis
Yeah,
personally.
I think it was like 42. He finished with 42 points. So I mean, like the first two games he was struggling, but like today he just went off.
Yeah. And then you had Jason Tatum, who's averaging 25 points per game, Jaylen Brown, 21 points per game, leading the way. But Grant Williams is the third option. He's averaging 14 and a half points per game. But the Bucks are doing a good job without Chris Middleton, with Giannis with 26 points per game and Jrue Holiday with 22 points per game. Chris Middleton obviously is out. I remember that is guaranteed for this series. But Acreage, a question for you: can we expect this series to be close without Chris Middleton, or was game one or game two? Was it just a fluke for the Bucks? Just like a throwout game.
I think actually I didn't expect the Bucks to win this game. Like the 2-point win, so crazy. The Celtics, they came back in the fourth quarter after being down by 14, and then they were up by 1 point, and then the Bucks made two clutch jumpers and a layup. So I don't know. I think that it's gonna be like at least 6 games. Um, right now, honestly, I think I'll still lean towards the Celtics. I think they could get it done, but I think it's definitely going to be close, which is really impressive for the Bucks without Chris Middleton, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in the first round series versus Chicago that they were able to just handle them off without him. But I don't know. Just I think everyone on the Bucks, everybody. I mean, you can't see it with the stats, but everyone's kind of stepping up and helping Giannis out a little bit. It's not like Giannis carrying the entire team, although without him they wouldn't be good. But like
Yeah.
with him they're so good. Um, yeah, in my opinion, it's kind of tough. Maybe I think Boston, the way they're playing, could close it out, but then Milwaukee, on the other hand, they're up 2-1. The next game is a must win for Boston, because if they lose, they're down 3-1, and no one wants to do 3-1 unless you're LeBron James.
Yeah.
So, if you win, it's 2-all, you're comfortable, you're at home, you should get the game to go up 3-2. But um, it was close and in Milwaukee. So I think Boston will make some adjustments. So in the next game, they can come back stronger.
Yeah, and like even in this game, it was just like it was so close at the end. They had two wide open threes from Jaylen Brown, one from Marcus Smart. Um, and if they made either of those, they would have probably won the game. And then obviously Marcus Smart at the end of the game, he shot two free throws, where he could have been given three, but the refs decided no, let's just give him two because it wasn't. They ruled that he wasn't actually shooting a 3-pointer. They said it was just like a rip through. So I don't know. I think this game could have gone really either way. So because of that, I'm still confident in the Celtics probably.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of some strong teams, we have the Suns versus Mavs now in a series. You have the Suns leading 2-1 after game three, where the Mavs got a nice win. The Suns went up 2-0 after those 2 games in Phoenix, and then that was an impressive win. The Suns do have 6 players averaging over 10 points per game in the series, which contrasts with the Mavs, where Luka averages 20 more points per game than their second leading scorer, Jalen Brunson. Um, but overall, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they've been a great 1-2 punch once again. Luka is averaging 35.3 points per
Jeez.
game. I mean, if I were to rate his performance, it would be pretty good. But
Yeah,
after
just average, just average.
just average. But after games 1 and 2, Jason Kidd in his press conference said, the head coach said that Luka, he needs more help because even if he drops like 30 every night, you can't expect the Mavs to just keep winning. Because everyone else stepped up with Luka there. Jalen Brunson actually had a good game 3. I think he got like 28 points. So, I mean, a question for you is that do the Mavs have enough to like keep afloat? Do they have a chance to stay in the series, maybe even win the series, or are the Suns just too good and they're gonna kind of pull away?
Ooh, I think the Suns will pull away. I think like even though okay, I think it's like the Clippers series, not or maybe I think it'll be close actually. I'm gonna revise my thing. I think it'll be close. I think it's gonna go 6 or 7. But I think it's gonna be like just like the Clippers where the Suns in the end are gonna get the job done. Luka's probably gonna average like 36 points per game for the series, something crazy. He's like the all-time leading like average. He has the highest scoring average in the playoffs ever. He's higher than Michael Jordan now. It's crazy.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. Luka's just really good. They need to get this man a second star player. Like I don't know who, but just get someone. Not Kristaps Porzingis and definitely not Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, not Porzingis for sure. But in the offseason, they need to find somebody, whether you have to trade a couple bench players away just to get a star player. Because I think Luka and like maybe even I don't know, maybe a center, maybe like a forward, just like to help him out would be good for the Mavs. Because you don't have to like rely on Luka every single game to do good. Because if he does bad, I mean they lose. But even if he does really, if he does really good, then the team still could lose. So like, you know, so at least with Michael Jordan, you had like a strong team with Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Steve Kerr, all those guys. So Michael Jordan had help, but obviously he was carrying, but like still. But yeah, speaking of star players, we have another playoff series. We have the Philadelphia 76ers and Miami Heat. The Sixers went down 0-2, and you had Embiid with a orbital fraction, a concussion, and a ligament tear in his finger. He was out for both games 1 and 2. And then he came back game 3 wearing a mask, and they won. James Harden was struggling, so Joel Embiid came back. But DeAndre Jordan, Bam Adebayo couldn't stop him at all. And then game 3, it was a low scoring game. I believe Miami only scored like 32 points at halftime.
Wow.
And they had 79 overall. So Bam Adebayo had a significantly worse game than ever. And then Harden and Embiid both score almost 20, and they have pretty solid games. And then Danny Green has 7 threes and 21 points too. So definitely an impressive event. And then something that was really funny that I saw this morning. So on Instagram, when Joel Embiid did his Instagram post with his mask, Jimmy Butler commented after your mask.
Yeah, because Joel Embiid was like doing like the Bane quote from Batman is like, nobody cared who I was till I put on the mask, and Jimmy Butler was just like, I don't care about care about your mask.
Yeah. So and Embiid didn't even have like a outstanding game. So
but I still have like a lot of respect because he came back with all 3 of those, I guess, injuries afflicting him at once, and he still came back and led his team to win. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But what do you think for the series? Like, let's go with game 4. Do you think the Sixers can get another game going back into Miami?
I think they could. They have like the momentum right now to get another game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Miami does something because Tyler Herro didn't play as well. Jimmy Butler had like 22 points. So he didn't play as good. Maybe an average night for Jimmy Butler, but if the entire Miami team steps up and kind of like gets used to the atmosphere, I think they have a chance. But if the Sixers kind of have a balanced team as they did in game 3, I think they also have a good chance. So it's gonna be an interesting series. That's all I'm gonna say, and it's good for me because I'm not like I don't have like a favorite team in this, so I don't care. But yeah,
for me at least, I feel like what needs to happen if the Sixers want to win, then James Harden needs to drop he needs to have a good game.
like 25.
Like 25. Just give us 25. I'm pretty sure he averaged like 34 like 2019. Why can't we just need one game
Yeah.
over 20 where he's not shooting like 7 for 25 or something. Um, and that would be really helpful for the Sixers. I think Joel Embiid would be very happy if that happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's the Sixers. I think they can. I think they'll win Game 4, but then after that, it's really up to how will Joel Embiid gonna still be okay? I don't know if any of his injuries will get worse because he's playing through them, especially the ligament tear, or and also just can James Harden actually have a good game for once? But that might be too much to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting series. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, well, I think we can move on to the last series, which actually Game 3 is going to tip off in like 30 minutes from now. But the Grizzlies versus the Warriors, which in my opinion is like the most interesting series so far. It's tied 1-1. They're going into Golden State, so Warriors did get to steal the game that they might have needed. Ja Morant scored 34 in Game 1, but Steph Curry and Jordan Poole both had solid games, and they were able to take the dub. And then also in Game 1, Draymond Green got ejected for a flagrant 2 foul against Brandon Clark. And there was a lot of argument about like whether or not that he deserved to get ejected, or like a lot of people were saying that he didn't deserve to get ejected. And even he was saying on his podcast later. But funny thing enough, so they go into Game 2. Ja Morant goes off again. He scores 47 to level the series for the Grizzlies. But during that game, Dylan Brooks, just with a very, very dirty play, he swipes really hard at Gary Payton's head and shoulder while he's going up for a fast break layup. And Gary Payton actually ends up getting severely injured from that. And now he's probably going to be out for at least 3 weeks with a shoulder injury. And obviously Dylan Brooks was ejected on the spot for a flagrant 2. And he's now been suspended for Game 3 also. So I guess, like, what are your thoughts on all this drama in this series so far?
It's a lot of drama, I'll tell you that. But like, I mean, that foul was just like, it was so unnecessary. Like, I mean, you can't even like. It was just like he was wide open going for the layup. Then you just like go and elbow him, and then he's done. So I think I think they did the right thing in like, suspending him. But also Steven Adams didn't even play in the series. So he was in COVID protocol, so he just cleared COVID protocols, and he's coming back in Game 3. So he missed the previous 3 postseason games. So it's the last game versus the Timberwolves, and then the first 2 games of the series versus the Warriors. So you'll have a guy who can be effective on rebounding and passing. So that would be a positive for them. But I mean, personally, I don't really care who wins, but I mean, it's the West is like so competitive, as well as like the whole NBA is so competitive this year, so that I think anything can happen. So, you can have the Warriors win. You could have the Grizzlies. I mean, it's 1-1 in Golden State or in San Francisco, but I don't know, because you never know. I mean, last year the Grizzlies won in Golden State during the play-in. So I don't know. It was weird. They played in the play-in last year, and then this year's like the second round. So it's
Yeah.
definitely more of a different stage, but I think the Golden State has been playing so. But obviously, with Gary Payton out, it's going to be crucial. He's crucial for them. But again, I don't think they're like doomed without him. I think they still have a legit chance because they have a really strong starting lineup. And then off the bench, you're gonna have like Otto Porter, Nemanja Bjelica. You're gonna all these guys, or Jonathan Kuminga. You're gonna have all of them that need to step up. Obviously, just do a little bit more than they already do with Gary Payne out. So I think it's gonna be competitive. Tonight, I think Warriors are gonna take Game 3.
Yeah, I think Warriors will take Game 3 too. And well, yeah, I think they will. But I think whether or not the Grizzlies can stay in the series is going to first be up to, is Desmond Bane going to continue to be Steph Curry, but on the Grizzlies like the last season, like the last series, and also like Ja Morant, if he continues to play this well, right? He had 34 first game, 47 second game. He's averaging like, I know it's only been 2 games, but he's averaging 38 points per game for the series, which is ridiculous. And it's kind of cool. I think that's pretty nice because versus the Timberwolves, remember we were talking about how his dad said that he played like trash for the
Yeah.
series. And now he's really, really stepping up scoring wise for his team. So kind of nice to see that. And I think if he gets another insane performance like that, I think he could definitely propel the Grizzlies to a win. But at the same time, like I feel like you can't bet against Steph Curry when his team is healthy.
Yeah, and with John Morant, something that I talked about with like a few of my friends, like if you have John Morant drop 47 and then your team wins by 6, like come on. I guess it's yeah, I'm gonna say it's statistically correct, but like if you have a player, if you haven't scored 47 and then his team barely wins, then technically he's gonna have to do that every single game. But at the same time, game one, what was it? 1 point game, missed layup to win it. So 34 points. So I don't know. I think obviously John Morant has to play good for them to win, especially with Dylan Brooks. That John Morant's going to have to do another like 45-point game or something like that. But I definitely think that it's good. I don't know. I keep saying that's going to be competitive, but I really think that it will be because it's the second round. Like you're fighting for a spot in the semis. I think I think the Warriors have more experience than the Grizzlies. I think with the Warriors though, in terms of all the playoffs, you have only like Curry, Thompson, Green, Kevon Looney, and I don't know. I think that's about it. Yeah. But that's like all for the playoff experience part of it because all these other guys were like, the Warriors are a much more new team than they were 3 years ago when they made the finals and lost to the Raptors. Let's go Raptors. But then the Grizzlies on the other hand, they went to the first round last year. The year before that, I don't think they even made the playoffs the year before that. So I think, not much experience, but they did a good job with Minnesota. Even if the Warriors go up early in these next 2 games, like, go up maybe 15, but in the second quarter, the Grizzlies have shown that they're resilient. They can come back from these deficits. Like you saw, like against Minnesota, 2 20-point deficits, they come back and win. So, anything can happen despite the whole experience concept of it. But one thing I wanted to touch on just for fun. So I think some of you guys remember this about, let's just say a month ago, on one of our podcast episodes, we created a playoff bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we need to just check to make sure that we did everything correct. I haven't seen it yet, but I just thought of the idea of doing this. So I'm going to actually share my screen and we're going to go see, how smart we are with it. Okay.
I think like half of ours. Well.
All right. So let's just do a little recap here.
Okay. Here's the thing. The West actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. So we predicted that you would have the Pelicans play the Suns. You have the Timberwolves play the Grizzlies. So we got the whole thing for the West correct. So Suns and Pelicans, we said Suns in 5, Suns won in 6. We said Mavericks beat the Jazz in 7, but they actually won in 6. Grizzlies in 6, we got right.
Let's go.
We said Warriors in 7, and it was Warriors in 5.
I don't know why I thought it would be so close.
Yeah, because nobody played good on the Nuggets except for Nikola Jokic. So, but then if you go to the East, we got this incorrect so badly. We thought that the Nets were going to play the Heat, and then we thought that the Cavs were going to play the Bucks. I think the whole bracket was messed up because we didn't really do the 9-10 winner play the 7-8 loser.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah,
we just kind of skipped it.
So we automatically got like half the East wrong because we said the Raptors are going to beat the Heat or the Sixers and the Nets. So we got all that wrong. But then we had the Bucks beat the Cavs and the Celtics beat the Bulls, which none of those series happened. But we did get Bucks Celtics correct. But we said Bucks in 7. So right now
that
could still happen. That's looking kind of realistic. So, but then for Suns Mavericks, you said Suns in 6. That's realistic.
That could still happen.
We said Warriors in 6 versus the Grizzlies, and that's also realistic. And then we said Suns are going to play the Warriors, and the Suns are going to win. I think that was 6. Yeah, in 6. And then we said and then we said Bucks are gonna meet the Raptors in 7. Okay, but Suns and Bucks in the finals could still happen, and then we said Suns are gonna win. So it's I don't know.
Here's
Like
the thing. Here's the thing. The West is like extremely accurate. And I think that's more than enough.
yeah.
Like,
And then the
like,
East is like inaccurate.
okay. Here's the thing. The Bucks, they could definitely. I would say they're the favorite right now to make the finals out of the East. So
Yeah.
we're still riding. We're doing good on that. Who else? Warriors. We said they'd win. Suns said they'd win. They both are looking like they have the advantage right now. You never know.
Yeah.
But it'd be funny if like I wouldn't care if we got like Suns Bucks or Warriors Bucks or Suns Celtics. All those series would be really good, honestly.
Yeah.
I probably out of those, my favorite would be Warriors Bucks, like Steph Curry versus Giannis. That'd be sick.
Yeah. And also one final thing that I want to touch on, not even final, but just one thing. We have the GOAT himself, Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah,
He Ben Simmons has
oh my god.
Ben Simmons has back surgery. He's expected to be ready for training camp. So he officially had a surgery to alleviate pain in his back caused by a herniated disc. And Simmons I think he's having it in LA, but he's gonna have 3 weeks of an initial recovery period, and then he's gonna begin a rehabilitation program. So for the team, like per the team, he's expected to make a full recovery and be ready by training camp. So the last time he played a game was June 20th, 2021. He missed the entire season. He missed the entire playoffs. He missed it regarding mental health concerns, and then what are originally called back spasms, which turned into a whole surgery. So the hope is that by next season, he actually like steps on the court. Yeah.
I feel like here's the thing. Now that he actually got surgery, like it makes me almost think that he actually did. He actually was legitimately injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but still, like it's not like you're playing. Just like get the surgery. You don't have to wait for the season to be over to get surgery.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, if you knew that it was actually kind of bad injury, I guess with this herniated disc, then why even say or like, oh yeah, say, oh maybe I will play for Game 4 of the playoffs. Like he should have never said that in the first place. He should have just been like, I'm injured and I need to get surgery in the offseason. And then everybody would have been more understanding than him saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna play in Game 4. I'm gonna save the season when we're down 0-3. And people were expecting him to play. Like, so I don't think he should have said that. Because I actually looked at his post. He said he made a post saying like the surgery went well, I think this morning or something.
I saw that, yeah.
And I looked in the comments and it was just people saying like, when was the last time this guy played? He's faking the surgery, all these things. Like nobody had any sympathy for him. And like if he's actually injured, then you kind of feel bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, but come on, like the whole thing is kind of stupid. You're out for mental health concerns. What do you think is gonna happen? You think you're gonna come back next season and the fans are gonna boo you after you lose? It's your fans, it's your city. They're gonna support you. And then even after that game, Doc Rivers was supportive of Ben Simmons. It's not like the team hates you. I mean, yeah, sure, you didn't play well. You passed up. You didn't do a pass to Matisse Thybulle that was a wide open dunk, but against the Hawks. But like you cannot. I mean, I get it. There are people that are more mentally stable than others, but come on, you cannot go out for a whole season and then you expect your whole career to just it's gonna come back, right? Like you got traded to Brooklyn. Okay, you're with a good team, but it cannot happen like that because he missed the whole entire season with Brooklyn. Then he gets surgery. What's going to happen next season? Is he going to come back and he's going to be like a reserve, like not a bench player, like a reserve? Like he's going to play like he's going to be the type of player that plays when your team's up by 20 or losing by 20 with the last 2 minutes of the game. And he's going to come back on the court. And so like I don't know.
what I'm confused about is like the thing is for me, it's just how the story kept changing like over time
Yeah,
with
exactly.
him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first he they lose in the playoffs, they get eliminated. Okay, everybody's disappointed. People are like, okay, maybe it's time to trade Ben Simmons. This season we were supposed to go to the finals, blah 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 blah. All that good stuff. And I can understand maybe he does feel like pretty negative about it, pretty bad about it. So he sits out for um part of the season, beginning of the season, gets traded. Okay, now you're on a new team, and if the mental health issues are still the main issue, like I understand that they can still be there, and they might be very pressing, but then it seemed to like change into like, oh, he was actually he's injured, or he doesn't have proper conditioning or something.
Yeah, like when he did it, I was kind of thinking of like Michael Jordan. Like he said, like I remember in I think it was 95 when they lost to the Magic in the playoffs. Like Michael Jordan was pissed mentally, but like you don't just like sit out because you're mentally upset about something. You just get back to work and you have to work harder. I mean, I think it's not even the NBA, it's just life in general. If you fail at something and you're depressed about it, just work harder, and then you're gonna do better next time. If he would have worked harder, maybe he would have been with the Sixers right now in the playoffs. Like you never know. Maybe the whole trade with Brooklyn would have never happened, you know? So I'm not saying it happened because of Ben Simmons, but like, he was like the front runner in that trade. You think about it. James Harden, like great player. For Ben Simmons, 0 points per game, 0 assists per game, 0 rebounds per game. And who everyone assumes is gonna be like a star player when he could be like, I don't even know, like he could be like Frank Kaminsky next season. Like you never know what can happen.
Yeah,
So
it's just
yeah.
he was like given a whole new opportunity in Brooklyn, and he just didn't seem to take it. Like,
Yeah. Like I don't know if it's yeah, I'm kind of confused by it, but I think everyone's confused by it. But I think we can just move I think we can move on. So like we have I don't want to say your reaction. We never really got a chance to talk about any of the NBA awards. We did talk a little bit on our
oh
other
yeah,
social media on our other platforms about Scotty Barnes looking really rookie of the year, and you had Marcus Smart. But just in about I think it was like 1 or 2 days ago, you had Miami's Tyler Hero wins the Sixth Man of the Year award. He has been named the Sixth Man of the Year for his contributions in a reserve role. Um, and it is the first 6 minute honor for him, and he will win the first player to win it with Miami. Um, and he honestly just did amazing in the season. But you had Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kevin Love, who finished in second place. You had Cameron Johnson finish in third place. So definitely everyone was deserving, but honestly, Tyler Hero just did a little bit more than everybody else. To make it to win the award. He did great. He averaged 20.7 points, almost 21 points, 5 points, and 4 assists on the game in 32.6 minutes in 66 games and 10 starts in those games. And his scoring average was the highest as the reserve. And he becomes the fifth player to average at least 20 points off the bench since starts began being tracked in the 1970 to 71 season. So he did join some big names. And he did have 8 games points off the bench. So I think we can kind of compare this to the playoffs. So like what do you think Tyler Hero needs to do in order for the Miami to like maybe even go to the finals or the conference finals,
I think he just has to keep doing what he was doing in the regular season. Like, just keep getting those 20 points per game is a significant mark, especially when you're coming off the bench. I think he was at like the fourth highest scoring average ever off the bench or something crazy like that. I think it was like Lou Williams and two other people ahead of him all time.
Yeah.
But so I think if Miami really wants to keep winning, they've always been good defensively. That's something that's kind of a given with them. I think it's really going to be how far can Jimmy Butler lead them against like these tough and really well put together teams like the Celtics or the Bucks in the potential Eastern Conference Finals. And I think a lot of that is going to also depend on how if Tyler Hero is going to continue to score at an extremely high rate. Like if you remember when they made the finals in 2020, Tyler Hero was the one who had I think two really good games in the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Celtics. to help them clinch the finals. So if he just keeps doing what he did in the regular season, and maybe has some special performances like he did in Game 2 this year, I mean in this series versus the Sixers, and I think that's really it for them. That's his key.
Yeah, it's his key. I mean, and with him, I mean, I think with him, the Miami wouldn't be where they are. So he's definitely. I mean, the starting lineup is good with like Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, PJ Tucker. Um, I forgot the others, but like he's like that maybe fifth, sixth, maybe fifth, sixth option on the team. And if he if he doesn't do well, obviously you have more guys to support him. And I think that's what Miami's team is. Like it's so balanced because although, Jimmy Butler is the star, it's not like he's like putting up, 30 points a game and he's like he's like so far out from everybody else. Like all the guys like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and like Kyle Lowry, they're close to him. So they have a balanced team where everyone can lift each other up. So yeah, I think that's a good note to leave off of on the podcast. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, wherever you want to listen. And also, one thing I forgot to mention: if you guys want us to publish our podcast on any other platforms where you like to listen to, music or other podcasts, make sure to let us know in the comments. And with that being said, me and Akimers are gonna go watch the Warriors Grizzlies game. And we're
Yes,
gonna see you
sir.
guys. And we're gonna see you guys next time.